broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome back, Daredevil fans. It's time for the Daredevil After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Zach Wilson, and we are back to talk episodes 3 and 4 of Daredevil.
Yes.
Oh, it's only been out for a day, and we just can't. We're trying to do this as fast as possible because we can't stop watching. It's so good. We're going to talk about New York's finest and penny and dime. One batch. Two batch. Which one of my co-hosts is gonna die? No.
Oh, you started this off with terrible implications.
Also, all of us eventually.
Yes. Well, it's true. Okay, guys, let's get into it. I'm your host, Zach Wilson. Tweet me throughout the week, throughout the show. That's Zach Wilson, THATZACHWILSON. My fantastic panel is all here.
Yes,
Donica.
Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica.
Jesse Klein.
Hey everyone, I'm Jesse Klein. You can find me on Twitter at JessKlein1.
Jamie Elias.
And yeah, thank you. And you can find me on Twitter and the Instagram at Jamie S. Elias.
Oh, so we just did one and two this morning.
Yeah.
Went in, immediately watched 3 and 4 because
Yeah.
we were impatient. And now we're going to talk about these two episodes. Basically, I feel like we just watched a 3.5-hour movie about Daredevil versus Punisher.
Emotionally draining.
Only slightly longer than Batman versus Superman is going to be.
Yeah.
I've never cheered for a dog so much in my life. One episode.
Yeah, first reactions, like how do you guys feel?
Well, I mean, if you watched the last one, I was talking about how the last after show we just did, I was talking about how important it was to me for the Punisher's character and for Daredevil's character to have that rooftop scene with the gun. And I was saying I would hope they would do some sort of analog to it. And then they just did directly what happened in the comic books. Almost exactly.
You guys should have seen Jesse.
I was so excited. It was almost panel for panel. If you go on Google image search and you look at the panel I'm talking about, if you do Daredevil Punisher Rooftop, you'll get this panel. It's almost exactly the same thing. They took it off the page and put it on the screen. And I will scream from the mountaintops for 1,000 years because of it. It was amazing. It was fantastic. I'm just happy that they took this time with the Punisher character, because it's really easy to just make him just guy who just kills things because that's what he does. But he's so much more than that. And the fact that he isn't killing, like the whole Hope conversation, I could go on for hours. Talk to someone else.
And we will.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not hours. We will go on for a amount of time.
Amount of time.
We've got a lot to talk about from these episodes because it was really packed. Like they got a lot of plot line in an hour and a half of television. Jamie, did you enjoy these episodes?
Yeah, they were so good. I liked the...
Besides just the dog, of course.
I know. Gosh, I seriously almost left the room when I thought they were going to kill the dog. I'm not kidding.
You were at the
I was
door
literally
like,
I'm
they better not.
I was like, they kill this dog, I'm done with the panel. Love you
All
guys.
of Jamie's body was out of the room, just her head peeking through the door.
Like, don't I hear the screwdriver go, and I was like, no, it's not happening. But I thought it was really cool, like you were saying, how they evolved John Bernthal's character, and I've said this like 6 times to these guys already, but seriously, like, you're an incredible actor, John Bernthal. That was amazing. That was really great. It was really good.
Yeah.
Mark, quick thoughts before we jump in?
This was what I always wanted Frank Castle to be on TV, and I'm happy that we at least got a glimpse of it. We know that he's not dead.
Yeah.
So I hope he heals up and maybe we come back to him later in the season or another
I
another
would
time.
be seriously surprised if this is the last that we see of Frank Castle. That said, like I said, this felt like such a complete story
Exactly.
between the two of them.
I think it's got to be the trial of Frank Castle coming up.
Ooh, very interesting. And let's get to that. Let's get to that when we get a little later towards predictions. Because I definitely want to talk about that idea. But let's start with the rooftop conversation. Like you were saying, like very much bringing a comic book panel that we've seen to life. Like just Daredevil chained to a pillar alone. Like I was excited. Like they're like these are people who clearly love the comic books.
The patience they had with that entire scene is so applaudable and so amazing, because in a show like this you feel like there is that stairway fight, which was goddamn amazing, but you earn that so well through that scene on the rooftop.
Even the way they started it.
Yeah.
Because, like, that first image that we got of somebody wringing out blood and wringing out water, was that his mom?
That was Matt at the orphanage.
I know, when he was younger, but was that his mom?
No, it was a
There
nun.
None.
He was a nun because he was raised
It was
by...
after the accident.
Got it.
It was after the accident, and then after his dad was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
So yeah, but yeah, the ring of the blood. I took that as less. That was a symbolism. It wasn't a literal like he saw that happen.
Yeah,
so because he wouldn't have been at the orphanage with his sight.
That's why I was kind of like, I don't know, never mind. Maybe I'm just way off. That's why I was kind of like, maybe that was before, I don't know.
No, but I think the symbolism, they're absolutely using heavy symbolism here. And I say heavy, not to be in a negative way, but...
No. But wasn't his mom a nun?
Yes.
She was, wasn't she?
His mom was a nun.
So if he's just in my head, this is what I'm thinking. So if he's imagining this happening and she's saying Maddie, right? It's like, it's not like she, I don't know. And I don't know. I could be way completely off.
Possible. I mean, that's a plot line we have not fully explored in this show, is what happened or where Matt's mom is now.
Yeah. I think for the most part it was symbolism of right now Hell's Kitchen is, well, I mean, at least Matt's side of Hell's Kitchen is very clean, but there's going to be blood. Like I feel like this
Will there be blood?
There will. You took my milkshake. I will drink. No, but I think what it is happening is like there's like Matt is trying to be this pure person, trying to live up to his Catholic guilt, and he's gonna have to get his hands guilty or bloody.
I definitely see that symbolism for sure. I just thought that in the comics his mom was a nun, and if he's imagining it in my head, I'm like, if he could see that in his head, it's before he lost his sight. So that's just the first thing I thought, but I could be completely off.
That's interesting. I also, to me, it was something about the Catholic idea of like rinsing out the blood, wringing out the blood, like when you go for like confession or you go to try to assuage your guilt, to get rid of the Catholic guilt that all Catholics carry around, which is very different from Jewish guilt. I understand that one more, but both
you and me both, buddy.
So this is the way that when you confess, you wring out the sin, so you get rid of the blood that's you're
spending a lot on
to.
the very first scene.
Yeah.
Yes,
like
we are.
Very,
it's
very
good.
First
It's because this show is really good.
Well, in terms of the conversation, the ongoing conversation within the episode between Frank and Matt, I was hoping that was the entire episode. I was hoping we were never going to leave that rooftop, and it was just a conversation between those two
Set it up
people.
so good. Like, it's this whole idea of moral compass, and like that's every season so far and every episode so far of Daredevil. The showrunners are so good about like, here's the surface level of the show, and then like if you want to, you can get so deep. Like Daredevil's, it's pretty rad. Like a kid could like wade in it, but like I probably couldn't reach the bottom of its ocean.
I love characters that are hypocrites. Like I think humans genuinely are hypocrites by nature. Like I think you can believe something so furiously, but at the same time believe the exact opposite. And I think seeing Matt I'm not gonna kill that guy no matter what happens. I'm not gonna kill that guy. I'm not a bad guy. And then see him basically put a stairwell of bikers in the hospital for the rest of their lives immediately after.
They had to, some of them had to die. Let's be real. Like there's a couple times
There's
where I
a
was
bunch
like,
of
you
them
did
that are.
not
There's a
live.
bunch of them that there's no way they're
There's no
alive.
way.
He threw a guy on his spine over like 2 stories down a stairwell. Like that guy's breathing out of a tube for the rest of his life. Like,
Yeah,
But he's alive.
Before
Yeah.
we talk about hallway scene, the sequel,
yeah.
because I want to talk more about this rooftop like discussion that they have, because they even like call it like, you a Catholic once.
Yeah.
Like they're really going heavy into the idea that these are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And that Punisher believes that that, as he says, like, you are one bad day away from being me.
Mm-hmm.
It's that quote that we've seen like in all the trailers, because it's just like,
Yeah.
that's my reaction when I hear that line. But do you guys think they really are the same? Like, is it really just like 1 degree more and Matt is Frank Castle, or are they very different people?
In the comic books, Matt eventually does become a bad guy for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he does kill, and he does kind of give into his dark side for a while.
Yeah, well, this version,
But
like,
this version, I was going to say, this version, I don't think they're the same person.
He's been paralleled a lot to bad guys, though. Not bad guys. Not saying that the Punisher's a bad guy, because innately we heard at the end of the 4th episode that he's not. He just is messed up. Like, he had a really bad go. He saw his kid. Like, we know he's not a bad guy. But even with the Kingpin was like, we're the same person. You know what I mean? So I think that somewhere in Daredevil there's a darkness. Whether or not we're gonna see it, I don't know. But I do think that they're a lot of the same qualities as like Punisher and Kingpin.
It's a similar thing where they have the same intent. They both want to rid the streets of crime, whereas Matt and Fisk both wanted to fix the city.
yeah.
You know, so it's how you go about that intent, that whether that makes you a good or a bad person.
And that's I think the big theme of Daredevil as a show, at least to this point, has been, we can achieve good, but how we achieve good is just as important as the good itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you achieve good through bad means, it's not good. It just isn't, even if it seems like it on the surface.
Yeah. Well, it's that whole thing. It's like, would you kill one person to save 10,000? That's usually an easy choice. You'd say, yeah, if someone has to die to save 10,000, sure. But would you kill 12,000 to save 13? Like, it makes it much more muddy and dirty, like, when you mess with those numbers.
Yeah.
And, like, the way the Punisher sees it, he sees he's only just killing these one people, or just one person at a time. But, like, in that priest speech, like, it's not a person, it's an entire world. Like, every death affects everyone around them. And I think that priest speech was amazing. And I think just the basic difference between these two characters makes these 2 episodes so freaking, like, the cemetery conversation as well was amazing. But this was just both these episodes are fantastic, like, should be in like award ceremonies, like, just amazingly done.
I thought it was great acting between Bernthal and Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
Both of them really delivered in this scene.
And in this scene, and having the graveyard scene as a sort of wrap up of everything, going from this argumentative, shouting at each other, trying to understand each other, to at the end having that understanding.
Yeah, it was great. And it was the reverse. It was Matt standing at the end versus Frank standing. And they're learning about each other as they go through this. But after the rooftop scene, well, there was the gun, which we've talked
Apart from
about.
the rooftop scene.
The gun on the roof, because we've talked about that.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go, but just like, I love that they used this and didn't like just because like Jesse as a fan, like you knew it was coming, but it just like it was such a great payoff. And for people who didn't know it was coming, I think it was still just this amazing moral dilemma.
But also using Grotto instead of just like a person.
Yeah,
Using
or
somebody
like-
that we've already seen and started to identify with and sort of get behind.
And that I was
as that
defending
catalyst.
on the last after show as like he's just a runner. Like why are we punishing him so bad? No, he killed somebody who may or may not have been a bad guy. It's hard to say, but then he also killed an old woman just for being a witness.
And I think that's why they built his like last review. We were talking about like why they built his character up so much. Like this is why. This is
It
why.
was
This
worth
season,
it.
Yeah,
It was
this scene is
absolutely
why.
worth all of the time they put into him.
And at the same time, it's like when Grotto is describing that, he said he was given an order that you can't refuse. Like a thing where it's like
you can't refuse.
yeah, like it's a thing where it's like maybe if Grotto doesn't do that, then they kill his family. They don't like these are people who are put in terrible positions. Again, like the Punisher's black and white on that doesn't always translate. And I think I like Matt, like I like that the Punisher goes, "Oh, you believe in Santa Claus," but
No, we're going to talk about Santa Claus.
yeah,
we're talking about hope.
But I think that's the thing that makes Daredevil so different than Matt or than the Punisher, which is his belief in redemption. It's the Catholic thing of you can always be redeemed. No matter how far you go, no matter how bad you get, there's always a chance for redemption and hope.
It's kind of ironic though, because I appreciate about the Punisher that he is black and white, because not a lot of characters that I've ever seen on any TV have been just so incredibly black and white. Like this is what I believe, this is not what I believe, and stick to it.
Yeah.
And the entire 4 episodes that he was in, that's exactly what he did over and over. He stuck to it, and it kind of made me like Matt Murdock is a great character. And he's so gray, and that's what makes him so deep, and us trying to, like, understand him. But it's also, like, it's harder for me to respect that when he's killing people in a stairwell, even though, I mean, somebody had to have died.
Yeah.
And technically, he killed Grotto. It's harder for me to believe in that gray than it is that black and white. Like, I like the black and white of the Punisher a lot.
And I don't think Daredevil killed Grotto. Like that was the Punisher's call. Just like how with the guy who was coming up. The landlord who came in to like check on them.
Yeah.
Like if the Punisher pulled the trigger on that guy, he would have blamed Daredevil. He would have been like, "It's your fault. I told you to stay quiet. You didn't." And that's just like the Punisher's point of view. It's like
No, he also said that was all for show. That was for you. That wasn't for him.
Yeah.
But see, the thing about
I still
that
think
too,
the Punisher would have killed him.
The thing about that too, though, is because he had his finger on the hammer hook or hammer. I don't know, gun. Sorry, the hammer thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and he doesn't know that the Daredevil can hear that well because of the whole scene at the very end where he's like, "How did you hear me saying that poem?"
Might actually be the devil.
So he was totally bluffing, saying, "I did that for you." Bitch, you did not do that for him. You did not know he could hear. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know. I'm confused about how I feel about the Punisher's black and white, but I do respect it. I respect that
sure.
he's so like, this is the way I think, and this is what I'm always going to do, and you're not going to sway my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got to talk about, as I said, hallway fight, the sequel, because oh my god, the
my
actions
God.
like. In the trailers, we'd seen the first bit of this. Like we saw like the pieces of him like throwing his stick baton thing into the lights and like fighting people in the hallway. We were like, awesome! They're gonna do another fight in the hallway, and then they just upped the ante so much by taking it into a freaking stairwell.
That's cool. I'm going to say something that you guys probably won't agree with. I thought that this fight was amazing. Like, the entire time, I was like, oh my gosh, this
Don't
is so
preface
sick.
it, Jamie. Just
just
out with
say
it.
it.
I think that it wasn't as organic as the first hallway fight.
Oh, sure.
No.
Sure.
I thought
Definitely
the first one is still in my head as number 1. This was a sick fight. Like
This was an evolution to show where Matt has come and what he's willing to do more so.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one was like, all right, this is being a superhero. Let's go.
right.
A lot of people were like, we just got to do it. Whereas this one was, don't care. I got to get to the bottom of this stairwell. I got to get to Frank. I got all this stuff.
And I like that he did it by himself too.
Yeah.
Like at the end, where I was like, Frank, he's gonna come out and kill him. He's gonna come out and kill him. And at the very end, it was like, no, the Daredevil took down everybody by himself. I thought it was cool.
And I think again it was more of a subtle thing. Like last last season, I watched last season a couple days ago just to refresh. And like last season, even like all of the slick action that Daredevil was doing, it was still really labored. And this action was way less. Like this is again, I think, like kind of showing that, you know, he's been training, he's got a power upgrade, he's got a chain glove right now, and the other hand is just a gun that he's pressing into people's faces. Like
it's like almost like Ash, like versus Evil Dead style, like, and just like that his hands are not hands anymore.
Frank and Ash.
But
maybe a Ghost Rider nod with a little bit of a chain action going.
But I do agree that first hallway fight was amazing. Like I would watch that a million times.
Like that's the thing. It's like I completely agree with you, Jamie. It doesn't. It tops the one from season 1.
The violence does.
In that the action choreography is so incredible, and the cinematography to follow it is insane. Everything about like the action of it is off the charts.
Yeah.
It doesn't land as well as the one from season 1 in that was so just like organic to what he was doing. He had to go rescue somebody, and this is the amount of guys that you would expect to be there, how you would expect them to fight, in that it still is the most realistic fight sequence I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Totally.
This was ridiculous and amazing, but it was like superhero comic book.
Well, it was like Old Dog, if you've ever seen that. It felt like Hong Kong cinema, where it was like a little bit bigger than life.
Yeah.
Where the first one felt just like we were watching a gritty fight that was
And there's
happening.
nothing wrong with bigger than life. It's why we watch superhero stuff. But it is something that I think everyone admired about season 1. But the difference is that was the Black Mask Daredevil versus now we have full-on Daredevil. Like, he is a superhero now.
Yeah.
So his fights need to be that of a superhero.
Yeah, a superhero
Instead
fight.
of just a street-level defender.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yep. It was
Yeah,
the
you got
allusion to the Defenders.
Yeah. It was cool.
Superheroes.
Yeah. It's like it's a series that we're going to get in like 2 years.
Yeah, we got it, dude.
All right, so from there, like, what happens with Daredevil and Punisher is just like he escaped. Like Punisher escapes. Did you guys think he was gonna escape? I know while we were watching, some of you guys were like shouting that like Punisher's gonna come save him.
Well, not save him, just be like, oh, whoops, more guys. Time to go. Time to kill.
Cap him.
Like he just like Daredevil's like about to like defeat them, and then Punisher's
He's like, no, or just walk through afterwards and go brain, and make sure they stay down.
Save them from the 2 boss level bikers at the end.
I like the bikers, by the way. Like, did you guys notice that the Ace of Spades by Motorhead was playing in their bar? I was like, this is the most biker song ever. That's so cool. But R.I.P. bikers.
Chat, I did mean Old Boy, not Old Dog.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is Old Dog?
I was like, I've never heard of Old Dog.
Yeah, Old Boy, sorry. That hammer hallway.
But yeah, computer's being weird. So anyway, so do we? Let's keep going on Daredevil and Punisher.
Okay.
Sorry, Mark. What were you saying?
Something completely different. So let's keep going. I was going to focus on a different character, but you want to keep going with him.
Let's do it.
Foggy in the hospital.
Yes.
Foggy looking for Claire.
Well, even before Foggy in the hospital, real quick, like his interaction with Reyes, and like the fact, and Karen interacting with Reyes right after the firefight, like I was like, why isn't Foggy helping Karen? And it's like, oh, because he thinks Matt is dead.
He doesn't have his
he has
brains
no
everywhere.
idea where Matt is. He just saw a blood stain on the ground, and like Karen's like, could you call Matt? And he's like, yeah, I can. I'll make sure. It's like, oh yeah, Foggy's best friend might be dead, and that's what's going on.
You guys know how I feel about Karen, but one thing that I do like about her is that she's kind of taking over in my head Ben Urich's, like,
for sure,
like his curiosity and his tenacity and the way he goes after things. And
she even says there's more to this story.
Exactly. So like I do appreciate that about her, and we do learn more things about the characters through her. And I think that she's the most like tenacious human that's on the show, like full human. I'm not saying that they're not humans, but you know what I'm talking about, like average Joe character.
Yeah.
I do just, so it's out there. I appreciate that about Karen.
Don't completely hate her.
I don't hate Karen. I just wish. I don't know what I wish.
Yeah.
Hey, Karen, I just wish you would die. It's two completely different things.
No, I don't hate Karen, but I do like that about her.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about with Karen and with Foggy and with Brett. Like, we have a lot to talk about with Brett. Surprisingly.
Yeah, I heard Brett.
Brett the cop. Claire came back in this. Finn. There's so much to talk about. I don't want to talk about it all. I want to do a quick shout out to our iTunes reviewers.
Let's do it.
Just get it out of the way, because I know a lot of you guys in the chat were asking us to make sure we got to the iTunes reviews, and we didn't talk about it last episode. So I want to thank a few people who've written us reviews since we last were on the air, which was admittedly a while ago. But recently we got Melissa D. Arnold, the podcast that everyone needs, binged the show late and then binged the after show. I loved it. All four hosts are perfect. I'm gonna keep this short just to, like, in the interest of time.
So you nail the perfection part.
Thank you. There are no vowels in that name. Best of the best. This is the best podcast ever. Period. Ammerheim. Sure. 56. Great podcast. When I rewatched season 1, love it so much. Can't wait for season 2. Well, good news. It's time. And Option Zero, thank you so much for writing in Option Zero. I know we watch this a lot of the after shows here at AfterBuzz. The top button of Jesse's shirt is the title of the review.
Thank you.
I'm writing this review in advance, so this is before, obviously, anyone had seen it. iTunes doesn't post reviews that quickly, because I'm sure I'll be too fried to review it this weekend. It's so great to have Mark, Jesse, and Zach, and Jamie back for season 2. You guys are the perfect chaser, since each episode of Daredevil is a shot of the strongest vodka.
Ooh.
Okay.
On a lighter note, I am glad that Jesse found a new top button of his shirt.
Okay.
The old button probably feels like Coulson's left hand, but we must all adapt and upgrade to survive.
Is there something I'm not aware of?
I think you keep your top button open.
Yeah, man.
Because it's warm in these studios.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
Yeah.
Leave Rico alone, all
Yeah,
right?
top button's
Rico
done.
Suave's got it going on here, and he likes to unbutton a shirt, and it's
I've
okay.
never lived in a household that buttoned the top button of their shirt.
yeah.
That is communist, and I am offended, sir.
But yeah, I wanted to thank you guys so much for writing in those reviews. They they put a smile on our face. That's why we like to shout you guys out, and it does help us at the network with just helping other people find this show, and so we can get more viewers and get, like, better recognition, because that's a big thing, and it helps us keep that is what in turn helps us keep the lights on at AfterBuzz. So
Help
thank
get us
you
to the
again
front page
for
of
doing it.
iTunes, like you did for Jessica Jones.
Yeah, we were on the front page of iTunes for the TV film for like a month or two with Jessica Jones, and I would like to continue that trend with Daredevil. now
Real
that we're
quick
back.
shout out into the live chat. We have Muhammad Ibrahim listening from Egypt.
So badass.
Nice.
That's so cool.
That's metal.
Almost as metal as Motorhead.
You know what else is metal?
Still Ben?
What?
Still Ben?
Still.
Still, man.
Yeah, still man. We can go that way because Matt goes back to Melvin to pick up his new suit. It's like
It was new helmet and gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
That's so
that their relationship is very
It's
cute.
cute. There's no other word to describe it. It's cute.
Yeah.
And his cute little, he had his uniform on.
Yeah, he had it underneath, and he was like, "You want to try yours on? You want to hang it?"
Like, I take your word for it.
You guys want to hang out in our superhero costumes?
Well, the thing is, he's
cute.
asking him, like, dude, look at it. It's amazing. And he's like, I'm totally blind.
Actually, I'm blind.
By the way, I love our international fans. We've got Australia, India,
London,
Denmark,
Denmark.
North Korea.
Ooh. Interesting.
I find that questionable.
Awesome.
But that's the thing, is like that entire cemetery talk was very interesting, but the entire time I was just like, look how cool his helmet is.
Yeah.
Like, look how cool that new helmet is.
Yeah. With the now we've got like the true red eyes.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Like the way that the light hits those eyes
Yeah, it is
is
creepy.
creepy. But that's
love it.
that's the point. He's
Yeah.
really becoming the devil. Did he have the ear pockets on the new one? I forgot to check.
he did.
I guess those are logistically necessary, but they always do make me giggle a little bit.
Oh.
The new designs are great. The gloves are bigger this time.
And reinforced.
Reinforced. Like, I mean,
For
he's
punching.
getting because he has to fight a lot of people. Like he's gonna have to. The stronger he gets, also, the more force goes into every punch, the more likely he is to break his fingers on a single throw. So it makes sense. But yeah, what you guys just for you egg hunters or gunters, if you will, I guess. It's a reference.
That's fine. Just keep going.
But the Stiltman, as you guys were talking about, we talked about it this last season because it wasn't the first time, but you could see it so much clearer.
It was really prominent.
Is like, well, Jesse, do you want to explain it?
Yeah, Stiltman is kind of a joke within Marvel comic book writers. He's every Stiltman iteration has died in a terribly sudden and brutal way, and it's just like it's a suit that gets passed down to robbers, and it's usually just their powers. They can just get really tall, and a lot of times Stiltman dies like helicopter blades, or getting tall and crashing their head against a ceiling, or like just not in nice ways. And it's just kind of like a joke. Like if you ever see a character with the Stiltman stilts, they're gonna die in a terrible way. There was, when the X-Men lost their powers, or when the mutants lost their powers, there was one that took the Stiltman stilts and died in a horrible way, and it was just like some poor person.
So that was the, if you look in the background of where Melvin's standing, you can see
the
large.
Look. It's
so
right there. Yeah.
It's the large metal like torso and legs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the kind of thing that like they'll never do Stiltman in live action, but like they found a way to just like have a fun joke.
I think
it shows they care.
There's a possibility. I mean, I figure, what if we get like a Community Beetlejuice joke where we see the suit 3 times, and the 4th time, or after the 3rd time, somebody actually shows up?
It would be the 3rd time. They would have to be. I could see it if they actually do eventually make the Damage Control series, which is the comedy series that's about like crime, like fixing up all the like damage that the superheroes do.
Yeah, I mean,
other than that, I don't think you're.
Melvin says that he has old clients that are like calling him up and asking him for like everyone's like with the
that was like a huge drop. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, I mean, with the scene with Claire. Like other than
Daredevil.
Ron Corleone says Turk becomes Stiltman.
That is probably true.
Good one, Ron.
All about Flair.
But with the scene with Claire, I think we get some really good characterization from Foggy. But I think one of the more important things to see is that without Kingpin, all of the gangs are going crazy. Mm-hmm. Like that ER, she's been doing that ER she was like, I've been here for 4 days, like up to my eyes in this, and it's just gangs fighting back and forth. Like it's crazy right now in Hell's Kitchen.
Wasn't there a Luke Cage reference in there too about why she's doing all this?
Yeah, and we'll get to that when we get to Claire's whole storyline. But I want to let's finish up with the Punisher and Daredevil. Because Matt, like now that he's got his new helmet, he is geared up enough to go help the Punisher, who has been captured by the Irish mob. Which we're introduced to this new guy, Finn, who has a limited run on the show.
That was it. I mean, they keep introducing it like, oh, this guy's gonna be a big nope.
The Irish just keep getting screwed.
His face got turned.
It's our lot in life.
Into meat.
But that first thing when they show the funeral, and he just shows up. Why did he stab the guy? I was not.
He insulted his family.
Okay, so that was that. But that was it, right?
I would also say he let that happen. He let his money get stolen and his son get killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm taking back this family.
So he's the local leader of the Irish mob, and this is like the homeland, like gang boss.
Yeah, this is the guy from the old country.
I think he's the only one with accent, right? Because I kept listening. I was like, because they kept calling like Murphy and Sully and like all these Irish names, but I'm like, none of them have an accent.
It dropped out occasionally.
Did it? I thought it was
for
just
like
that one.
A couple lines here and there. It didn't. Or at least it wasn't heavy. Could have just been the words that he happened to be saying weren't heavily accented. But I was doing the same thing. Like, is he?
I think he was. Why couldn't? out of everybody, he was the only one that I heard with an accent at all.
But I think that was on purpose to show the difference between, well, this is a mainlander and this is the extension group.
Totally makes sense.
And it seems like he's been retired from crime. Like he's coming out of retirement to kind of take care of business here and get his money back. Also, his son died, but mostly get his money back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's gotta get his revenge, right?
Yeah.
If that was his, let's imagine, if you will, that was his pension.
Yes.
His what are those things that like fancy people with like real jobs have?
401k?
Like, yeah, 401k. I was like 405. That's not right.
A nest egg.
Yeah, nest egg.
Shows how much we're prepared for real life.
Yeah, retirement money.
Yeah.
So like I think he kind of had to, right?
Yeah. Well, I think he was brought. He was very upset that he was brought to New York to take care of this, and I think mostly what he cared about was getting that money back. And he obviously has some anger issues to which he takes a lot of pills. But it seems like every time he takes the pill, immediately afterwards he does something incredibly violent.
No, I think it's right before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right before he takes the pill, right before he does something incredibly violent, he takes that pill because he took the pill.
No, he took it after he stabbed the guy in the brain and shoved it all the way through his fucking skull.
Eye wound.
Right through his eye. We're back to eye wounds.
But he did take the pill and then immediately just start beating the crap out of Frank.
Well, that was more Frank than anything. I don't think you can blame drugs for not working when it comes to Frank Castle pissing you off.
Do I look nervous?
Yeah.
Oh, this
all right, I'll tell you everything.
Interesting little tidbit. This is not the first MCU time that Tony Curran, who played Finn, has
Oh yeah, he's been a bad guy before.
Scottish, not Irish.
No, well, he appeared in Thor: The Dark World as Boar.
And
IMDb lists him as uncredited, but it was bothering me. Like, why can't I?
He was also in first class in a small part
as like a random agent. But yeah, he does. He's been in I think he was in Sons of Anarchy for a little while.
A lot of TV,
Defiance, and a lot of like little things here.
I
and there.
recognized him from Defiance.
Yeah. But yeah, he definitely has like that like Irish face. You're like, who is this guy? But yeah, so he played an Asgardian, and now he's head of the Irish mob. Downgrade. Some would say.
Also dead. Also, his face got turned into meat.
Also a little bit of a downgrade.
Yeah.
But I really did like that, again, this show just keeping its pace up is like, okay, realistically, like if you want to find a guy who's not really being that subtle, he's not Matt Murdock running around in a mask like only at night keeping it sly. Like this guy has been out in the day murdering people. Like he's careful like with the videotape and all that so that he doesn't like leave a ridiculous trail. But if you point a gun at enough people, like you'll get the details.
Yeah.
And they do. Like we see them just like blanket this hound just shooting people out. They shot that fish store owner, like the pet shop owner, in the arm.
Elbow.
It took a chunk out.
Oh, so gross.
He had to have been in shock too because I was like, yo, he's like not even crying. Like he was like, I'll tell you where he is. I'm like, your elbow is not on your arm anymore.
Yeah, he was absolutely in shock.
Man. I was it's gone.
It was intense.
I like that. This is gross, but I like that they show the violence that they choose to show. Like because they choose to show. I feel like a lot of the time they don't show when they shoot somebody, right? Like they'll it's gross and stuff. But when they actually show the stuff that happens, it's the grossest parts. Like that guy getting shot in the face, like his elbow got blown off. The guy getting stabbed in the eye. Like,
Frank getting the drill through his
foot. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean that's Frank though.
True. Valid.
Frank can handle it. He walked out of there.
He kicked somebody with that foot. I watched. I was like,
that's pure adrenaline.
That guy, I mean, Finn is a sick mother effer. He was gonna hurt the puppy.
Yeah, let's be real.
But I do love, and that is a nice little touch that like Frank is a dog lover. He's an animal lover.
But he also understands the innocence. He doesn't want innocent blood to be shed. Yeah, no matter what species
human or animal. Like, yeah, he's not there to hurt innocent people. He's there to hurt the bad people and prevent them from hurting other innocents.
Yeah.
Because like we finally saw in this thing, like what we as like fans know the Punisher's backstory, but we actually got to see what it was.
Yeah.
Also, I think the interesting thing with Finn is he was there when the Punisher's family was killed. Because he sees the tickets to Central Park.
Yeah.
And he goes, "That's who you are."
Yeah. So like, were they killed at the carousel? Because that was the thing. We didn't get the specifics of how it went down or necessarily why.
I think what happened is that there was something that happened. I think they must have been killed at that carousel, and that's why Finn knew who it was.
Yeah.
There must have been some sort of thing that happened. Either they got caught in the crossfire, or
I will say that it did throw me that they didn't give us those specifics. They only hinted at it.
I think that's going to be part of Karen's plot.
Okay. So you think that is going to be something we find out about just down the line?
I think that they're going to take a break and it's going to be Elektra for a while. And that's what I love about this season too, is that they're like, it's like a movie in the sense that there's different things that are happening. It's not just Kingpin the entire time.
Yeah.
So I think they might take a break from Punisher, do a little stunt of Elektra, and then eventually round it back out.
I think they're building to a bigger picture at the end where they'll need all pieces that have been established. So
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear that Karen isn't going to stop because of her conversation at the office after Grotto's funeral.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And we see the Punisher symbol of the skull, but we get more because he got a bullet to the head and almost died.
That was
did die
intense.
for a minute and then came back.
That whole story is just nuts. That I guess that is a thing. When you take somebody off life support, they can
shock the system.
Shock system back into life. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't imagine. But here's a question. Do you guys think that, like, basically the bullet to his head, the way I'm seeing it, it probably took out some kind of one of the areas of the brain that deals with certain
empathy,
because that again, like stroke victims have similar things with either memory or just like a lot of people I've heard of lose filters, basically where they just say everything. And Frank reacts so strongly when Matt implies that he might be insane.
Yeah.
That is like that's a trigger word for him.
Well, I think it's because he's a vet. I think that I don't have any experience in this, but I do have friends that have come back, and it's just, that's not something that I would ever say to them. You know what I mean? I also think that in his speech, Frank said it's not the killing that it's hard for me. It wasn't seeing my friends die that was hard for me. It was like, I think he wasn't I think he was this black and white person the whole time, or like that's what I want to believe, just because that's makes his character for me. Like if he was always this black and white person and this tragedy that happened to his family just kind of upped his, from it being in war and killing people that are hurting his country to killing all bad guys everywhere, even if they're in the United States, I think that he has to always be this black and white guy for me.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about Punisher is he insists that he's not suffering from PTSD and that it's insulting to insinuate that he is.
Yeah.
But he's still fighting a war. Like this is his new war, as he is fighting a war against organized crime. And I think he definitely has to be suffering from that. I mean,
he had no time either, right?
Yeah.
It was like a day he was back and then his family died.
Yeah, exactly. Like
so gnarly.
He's obviously suffering from a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
But in injuries like that, injuries to the head like that, do get rid of empathy or pain or and things like that. There
it hits the right spot.
There have been known cases where, like, there's a guy who took like a nail like through his head and was completely fine, but then he just didn't care about anything
Sociopath.
whatsoever.
If it hits the right spot, for sure. But I just don't know if... I mean, that could definitely be the situation. Either way, like, he's a little bit nuts. Like, after what happened to his family or what happened to his brain. I don't know. I just don't know if it's either or.
But yeah, I liked seeing Karen kind of doggedly go after the Punisher story and finding that janitor who took him, like, that's how she got to his home, is by going to that janitor. It reminded me a lot of, like, Jessica Jones, like how she would like puzzle through things by just kind
absolutely.
of like just going after the story 100% and like not giving up.
And telling that ADA, like, you're gonna get screwed over.
That was
you
really
need
good.
to help
yeah.
me. That was a really strong beat for her character. Like, Jamie, I know you were.
No, it was though. That was a good episode 4 was a good episode for Karen.
Yeah.
Besides the end.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Like Karen does, like, I mean, I guess this is really just like building her up.
Yeah.
To get to a bigger plot line. Like, this is her, like, we saw her doing the private eye type things in season 1, and this is the next step. This is the next
breaking into houses.
Yeah, she broke into his house.
By the end, she's going to be working for the Bugle.
And we got little things like she's saying, "I'm no saint," and like we've got little even more that 4th episode.
Find out that she has a brother.
Yeah.
We're learning more about her.
Yeah.
But I think this all points to what Jesse said earlier, which is the trial of Frank Castle.
Yeah, I think it's got to be.
Well, there's another thing when she's in the house that like they make this pan up to the security alarm very intentionally, like it turns on and goes green. That was clearly intentional, like to be in the shot. It wasn't just in the background.
Well, no, I figured that's how the van got there.
Yeah, the van with the suits.
I think that's how the suits put that in there in case anybody went digging.
But also, if you're trying to cover up something, why is the house still 100% intact? Like, it's basically the same as the day they left.
Maybe they were waiting for him to come back.
I think they're waiting for somebody else to come back. If there were people making sure that he was alive next to his bed, then they knew that there would probably be somebody to come after to finish the job. And why not go to the home and wait?
Yeah, because like the flowers from the funeral are still there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's 100% like intact, like untouched.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think about. I guess part of why part of what's throwing me is like it's so crazy to think about how quickly the Punisher became the Punisher in all this. That like all of what we're talking, because like the way they present it. And I'm just now realizing this, the way they present it, it's like they're talking about something that happened like a few years ago as opposed to a few weeks or days.
Yeah, for me it's a very similar, because the Punisher I'm familiar with from the comics is a Vietnam War vet, so he's been the Punisher for years and like has been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
But with this Punisher, he is very fresh. He's months old. Like it's a very different character, and I think we learn that he's an Afghan war veteran and Iraq. So I think we're gonna get more and more from him as the series goes on and kind of figure out. We saw he had a silver star,
which
in
is
his
like
home.
the 2nd highest.
Yeah, it's one under the Medal of Honor.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Like I said in the last after show, like the comparison to Captain America. Like this is what would have happened to a guy like Cap in an unjust war. In a war where like you're forced into actions just to protect yourself, even where you kill people that ostensibly could have been innocent. Like you go into the wrong town and somebody thinks you're there to kill them and they fire back because you've got machine guns and you could be there to kill them. Turns out like they were like you mortar a building and you killed a lot of people that didn't need to die. Just that alone is enough to like, and that guilt. There's a lot of talk about guilt in these episodes for Matt. Like put that guilt on somebody like Frank Castle is what does this. When it's a war there are always horrors of war, no matter what you're in. And I can't even begin to imagine them because I've never been in that situation. But I can't imagine that it is, I can only imagine that it is at least easier when there is a true evil, a clear evil on the other side, like the Nazis. Like, it's easier to say, like, the Nazis are bad. They are putting people in camps and killing them. Like, these are horrible people. Versus, like, you could make arguments for, like, these people have been put into a bad situation. They've been cornered. They've been lied to. They've, like, we've made them this way because of different... There's all kinds of things. And whether those are true or not, it muddies the waters enough that... anything you do has to be questionable.
I mean, and even with the Nazis, like a lot of them were just people who were in the army and then a new leader got elected and was like, we're going to war.
Yeah.
And you were part of the army, so you do what your leader tells you.
Yeah,
Like,
but the difference is that like then at least like the army was doing the bidding of somebody who was clearly 100% evil.
Sure.
Versus now where they may not be. It in certain situations like it gets confusing and it gets muddied and then it becomes which leader is it? It's changing constantly.
Yeah.
And it's still that guilt, like you were saying in the beginning. I feel like that's such a huge theme of Daredevil. This guilt is such a large, and I think even for Frank Castle, he felt guilt. He felt guilt for his family, and like before anything happened to his family, he came home and he was like, "I was tired. Have you ever been tired?" Like imagine the weight on his shoulder and like how people look at him after he came home from war. I really think that guilt, even in the conversation with the priest, and he's like, what do you want from me? Like what are you here to be forgiven for? It's just like these Avengers have such guilt that they don't know how to deal with, and it's crazy.
And yet neither of them take a night off.
Exactly.
Like, it's another
Exactly.
thing of that conversation. If I take a night off, somebody else's kids are going to die.
Exactly.
And that's the superhero sort of life that you have to lead. I think we're going to see that a lot in Civil War from Tony Stark when that comes up. There are clearly defined issues that come up when you are whether you're charged or you charge yourself with saving other people.
Absolutely.
There are problems that come up.
with great ability comes great
power.
Guilt.
Must also come
great accountability.
Word.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it.
I think that the thing with them in the cemetery was really kind of important for showing, like, he still considers himself a dad, which I think was heartbreaking. Like, to hear that story, to hear that tiredness about how he didn't read that story to his daughter, who knew she was too old for it, but just wanted her dad back. And I think that characterization for Frank is going to help us going forward. Like,
Yeah.
because I think the trial, I mean, immediately there's video of him shooting up a hospital.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be about whether or not he did these things. It's going to be more about, like, if you can do a mistrial, like if they're covering up all of that stuff, like if Reyes is connected to it. Like, I think a lot of it is going to be about, like, how are we going to see the Punisher going forward?
And I think we talked about how much Frank doesn't like to be considered insane or crazy.
Yeah.
When that could be the best defense that they have, and he's not going to let it happen.
That's
I
true,
made
yeah.
the decision in clear mind and clear conscience to do all of these things for these reasons.
Don't
And
call
they're
me
like,
crazy. Don't
"Whoa."
say I have PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that scene at the end, though, the cemetery scene, first of all, that ruined me. That was like,
Yeah.
that when he talked about the meat in his daughter, I was like, oh my, like,
Yeah.
that is insane, disgusting, heart-wrenching.
You know?
Yeah.
So sad, it read.
You know?
But I think that took him from being this psychopath to, like, a sympathetic Avenger. Do you know what I mean? Like, in Daredevil's eyes, at least.
Yeah.
Because we already knew his story. So we
Yeah.
already knew that he wasn't absolutely crazy and a villain. But I think that Matt was just calling him a villain because he didn't see as black and white as he did. But after he heard his story, I think it took him from being, like, a criminally insane person to just being, like, very sympathetic Avenger. I don't know. I
I
thought it
agree
was
with that.
Yeah, and so I want to take like as much as we can talk about the Punisher for another hour.
Could.
I want to talk about another hero in this episode.
Let's do it.
Who goes by the name of Foggy.
Okay.
Oh, Foggy.
Foggy. We finally got Foggy and Claire. We got Claire back after her little stroll through Jessica Jones land.
Mm-hmm.
And she came in to drop some Jessica Jones Easter eggs on us.
A single one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just the truth
Bigger and
is,
stronger.
It's like, yeah, I've been having. They got her in trouble.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because she was gone for days to help Jess and Luke.
Yeah, she's just calling out.
But
They're like, we need you.
I
There's
think
lots
that
of stuff going on.
one of the good things to pull from that scene, from those scenes of Foggy and Claire, is how Foggy still doesn't know how to keep a secret. He's just like, yeah, the friend that we both know, he likes extreme sports. He's like, I know who the hell you're talking
Yeah,
about.
just
Shut up and talk to me.
Just say Matt Murdock, the Daredevil.
Yeah. Louder. Holds like a wire.
I love Claire.
Claire's amazing.
Yeah.
I love
Claire's the
Claire.
best.
And I also like not my favorite, but one of my favorite parts about her was when he was like, I'm really sorry, like Matt let you go. And she's like, what makes you think he let me go? Like, she's such a badass. Claire Devil forever.
Oh, when she goes to the gang member, because what we're dealing with is like the fallout from all of these gang wars, and because gangs think that other it's clear like these two gangs think that what the Punisher's doing is them hitting each other, which makes sense. Like if you get hit really hard and you have a rival gang, I guess it would be the first thought like, oh, it was the rival gang that killed us. And like, but then they all have to go. They all wind up at the same hospital, and there's too many of them, and a fight breaks out, and because they're all, these are not guys who are used to hospitals, right?
Yeah.
Like
Seemingly.
I loved Claire just being like, hey, when you are not going to sue us.
Yeah.
You
Had
blew
5.
off your fingers.
You had 5?
You had 5.
Now you got 2.
Now you have 2.
Can I just really talk about how great Rosario Dawson is?
Yeah.
Like, just as someone who has been lucky enough to act in a few things, the amount of business she had to do while delivering those lines was insane. Like, she was delivering those lines and like collecting things and like giving things to people, like sewing things and cutting things, and like, I don't know, like, it was amazing. I know it's just a very specific thing that very few people can connect to, but like the fact that she was delivering those lines while she had that large amount of business and that large amount of choreography, like that's more impressive.
On such a busy set.
That's more impressive to me than the fights. Like that, like it's such like little specific things. Like that's insane that she hit all of that. It was, and at the same time also giving it an amazing performance of someone who cares a lot but is also way too stressed out.
Yeah, and like I love that the way that the whole thing plays out, where these two guys like are blaming each other. Clearly, they have a hatred for each other.
Yeah,
and no one knows quite what to do because these guys have guns pointed to the back of their head. No, they have
the cops.
The cops,
oh,
like
the
mall security, the hospital security guards have guns to the back of their heads, and they're still not dropping it. They're like ready to lunge at each other, and I really thought for a moment that they were each going to get shot in the back of the head.
This is why I have a crush on Foggy. I seriously do. I think he's the most personable character on the show.
Hashtag Joggy.
Oh, Joggy.
Yeah, we're actively shipping Jamie and Foggy together.
Hashtag Joggy.
We gotta get him in here.
I was such a crush on Foggy. No, but seriously, his character is the most personable in my opinion, and I think that that's going to come into handy in a lot of situations because Matt Murdock is clever, but he's not as personable as Foggy is, and so I think that just like the dog hell, what is it called?
The hell's the
Dogs of Hell.
Just like that whole situation, if Matt went in there, I mean he's blind, so he's got that. They're probably not going to beat his ass because of that. But
they would.
But he couldn't talk to them like Foggy could. Foggy's just, people like him, people are drawn to him, and I think that that's like a very clear definition of that he's smart, that he's personable, and that like he can handle situations that a lot of people don't think that he can handle.
Yeah. To quote another very famous superhero, very famous, everyone's a hero in their own way. The hammer was his penis.
Oh God. Jamie's losing it.
Yeah.
I mean, Foggy is like, this is like multiple, like, I think it was in episode 2.
Sorry, I just remembered something gross from Jessica Jones. Sorry, continue.
I think it was in episode 2 that Foggy had the moment with
the DA.
Yeah.
Oh, not just with the D. Oh my God, we've had 3 badass Foggy.
Yeah.
Because like with I was talking about the Dogs of Hell.
Oh yeah.
Same episode, I think.
Yeah, but I'm just like,
no, Foggy's
so
killing
many.
it.
He's just like, and like they're really making us respect Foggy because we didn't in a lot of ways.
These
before.
are Foggy's hallway scenes.
Yeah.
Like this is his version. It's just like him loitering
Ends up just
people.
as tired.
Yeah. Just like
I need a donut and a drink.
He's just like hyperventilating over
spits
there.
blood.
Just out of nowhere.
Why are you bleeding? You don't realize how much work that just took.
But
yeah.
But yeah, I think I like seeing him be personable and just being like, I'm gonna do what a lawyer does, which is appeal to your greedy side, and like just really calling them out is awesome.
And remind you that there are cops outside.
Yeah.
And
Witnesses.
tons of witnesses. You people are idiots.
Yeah.
Let these people do their jobs.
Yeah. Like, these are people that are trying to help all of you. Like, heal you.
Why don't you all get back to 100 so you can kill each other later?
Yeah.
Not right now.
The Punisher would have enjoyed that situation, that
Probably, yeah.
room. But yeah, so I think we've already talked about Karen and her hunt for the truth. I think it's time we got to talk about Karen and Matt.
Guys.
Can we?
Guys.
I think Jamie has something she would like to say.
A raindrop fell on her arm, and I'm pretty sure she had an orgasm. Like, I just can't. I can't. So many, I can't.
There was a lot of
situation.
shuddering.
Like it was like we were trying to justify certain things, and it still was just like, yo, you gotta chill.
Yeah.
Because it was the rain, and she was just wearing like a seemingly a light dress because of the heat wave.
Yeah.
But that was another thing. It was a lot of symbolism in that, where there was this heat wave, and now all of a sudden it's starting to rain, so the clouds are starting to roll in. It's not going to be as hot, yet it is. And
It's even hotter.
yeah, it was really bizarre performance, but that hit a little bit too much home. But
hit home?
But at the same time, we're all like, and Elektra.
Yeah.
Electra's gonna come in. Electra's gonna come. She's gonna. No, all right, I guess they're gonna get a kiss.
Yeah, and I mean, it couldn't help but evoke the Ben Affleck movie.
Heresy.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
No,
We're not-
I'm
I know,
sorry.
just kidding.
It was like when you can't have a romantic Daredevil scene in the rain and not at least like.
But also Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, man.
Yeah.
She just needed to flip upside down, or he did.
Yeah, I know, but like, well, because in the original Daredevil movie, I'm not saying just like if
He
the,
kisses
like,
Elektra
he
in
can
the rain.
see her,
Yeah.
because it's the rain and like
And then
the
Evanescence.
sound of each of the
And then Evanescence.
raindrops.
Pick me up inside.
Wake up!
I can't wake up. We've been practicing that for years.
I'm speechless.
I cannot.
I'm with Jamie on this one.
Remember, go to iTunes and leave us a review. 5 stars if you're nasty.
I cannot. But anyway,
been a long day.
I actually liked this scene. It like
Yeah.
again, like they've been building this relationship for almost like 17 episodes now,
Yeah.
and they're just now kissing. Like,
tell me about your brother.
yeah,
Can I take you to dinner tomorrow night? I was like, the biggest eye roll ever.
he is a respectable gentleman
I'm gonna
who
kiss
only kisses
Let me
after
get the rain off.
hiring
Let
you.
me get the rain off your arm. Can I take you to dinner tomorrow night?
But see, the reason I like this is like, and like the whole thing with the like where you think that she had an orgasm.
I'm pretty sure she did. Like, let's be real. If you guys disagree,
To me,
go ahead and.
to me
I'll
that
have
was
what she
If you
wants.
disagree, rate, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
to me that was more about Matt's side of it. In that, like, this was him, like, again, not the ridiculous way of the rain from the movie, but the rain, like, as like something that he can sense on her,
Tactile,
and like
yeah.
he can see her, he can feel through everything,
so
all of his
loud.
senses, the
Yeah, it'd probably be really
goosebumps
loud.
on her skin.
I just feel like he'd be like, oh, let's go inside. You know what I mean?
Ma.
Yeah.
Just like way too much louder.
But yeah.
I feel you. I know what you're saying. Like,
But like they could have maybe done it a little faster, and it wouldn't have felt as cheesy.
yeah, that's what it was.
Because they did
felt
linger.
really cheesy.
Yeah.
But it was still nice. Like they didn't have to like have them like hook up. Like they
Yeah,
didn't have
yeah,
sex.
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I think
like
it's-
after the first time they
Yeah.
realized
He's
they
a
liked
nice
each other.
Catholic boy.
No, it's gonna be a couple of dates first.
Yeah.
But it was it was just a good payoff for everything. Like, Matt's gonna take a night off. Now that the Punisher thing's off, he's gonna go and take Karen to dinner, and he's gonna start letting her into his life a little bit more. Like,
Yeah,
so
he's
much
he's
stuff.
gonna lower his guard for a moment.
and Electra's like,
Well, Foggy even said,
What
like,
about
better watch out. You might find yourself happy. And
And
he did
Elektra's
for a
there.
second.
Elektra's there to say nope.
Hello, Matthew.
He walks in, back from the bar,
Oh, hi,
gets a
Matthew.
beer, cracks a beer, as you do do when you get back from the bar.
Down the street.
He
Not an
goes to himself
alcoholic.
like a little schoolboy.
In fairness, his like adrenaline was probably through the roof.
Oh, I need a beer
That
to
point.
even myself out.
He seemed completely composed. It was Karen that was just like, I'm like, you need to just relax. Like,
They call it a celebration beer.
Karen, have a Gatorade and relax, okay?
Need to bring back up those electrolytes.
Yeah.
Elektra lights.
Boom!
Get out of this studio. We are all
been
punchy.
a long
We're tired.
day.
It's been a long day.
All right, but Elektra is there, and like he doesn't notice her at first. I think just because he's distracted.
And she's a ninja.
Yeah, I mean that too. But like, he also has.
Column A, column B.
Well, no, but like he also like he uses his sense of smell just because that's heightened as well. And we just talked. We talked about that before. It is one of his things that's risen. Maybe the rain masked it a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I had thought initially that while he was down with Karen, as he was going to start making the moves, that he was going to smell Elektra.
yeah.
Or sense, like, I hear something in my apartment.
Well, do you think that she like when he did sense her at some point, was that because she moved and she like intentionally tipped her hand?
Probably.
Or did he did he
She
in
likes
that
circling
moment
her finger on
smell
things.
her?
Yeah.
We do know that.
She
Yeah.
likes to circle her finger.
The trailer has her doing like this, like
In
just
like 3 different shots.
yeah.
She's a classy lady.
I think she moved intentionally, yeah. Like,
So like she's like hey,
She's just watching him walk in like, son of a bitch doesn't even notice me. What?
no, I think...
I think she's well aware that he's blind.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like, but she would know because of their history. She would know how hypersensitive he is.
Yeah, see-
so just like he doesn't.
See,
not
I
a
think
thing.
I do think she had that thought. I think it was more of a like he doesn't know.
Yeah. just like that Hello Matthew, we got so much characterization out of her.
Yeah.
Like
kind of
she's
obsessed with
And
her
so
already.
much about their
Obsessed.
yeah.
I'm obsessed with
relationship.
Karen. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
just like she's playful, she's mischievous, she's
super
dangerous, she's super cute. Love
so
the
cute.
accent. Like we just got that out of one line. Like all of that out of one line. We're all going to go home, take a quick power nap, and then watch the
You
next episodes.
I unfortunately will have to watch them tomorrow morning.
What
but
a loser.
Loser, get out of here with our matching
I got
clothes.
cool stuff to do.
Oh yeah, somebody
late
in the
tonight.
chat said that you guys are like the Daredevil, and we're like the Punisher because of our theme.
Oh.
Yeah.
We didn't call each other yesterday.
No, it actually was just a
Don't lie, we all did.
lovely accent.
I called Jesse and was like, "Yo, what color are you wearing?"
I was like,
Let me match.
I'm gonna wear the shirt
color
that's
you got
on
on?
top of my drawer.
Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, man.
I was just like red shirt because it's Daredevil
Nice.
time,
Yeah, me too.
and we're in the Brick Studio.
Yeah, this city. We're gonna save this studio. Sorry, action movie time.
Studio is in danger.
This studio. This summer.
This summer, the AfterBuzz TV studios are in danger.
Predictions?
Let's
Yeah, let's go with predictions.
Predictions.
We are losing it a little bit.
I see what you did there. That was great. No, it's fine.
Let's hit that predictions button.
Because he didn't select it.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Aliens. Nah, that's dumb.
All right, guys.
Really quickly, can I go first? Because I had an amazing idea.
Yes.
Go.
As a Jessica Jones reference / cameo, if Matt does end up taking Karen to dinner, what if he takes her to a little Italian joint? Ah!
That's now a Japanese joint?
Yeah, but like they walk to it and it's
Okay.
like closed. It's like, oh, let me go to this little jet. Oh, that's weird. It's closed. All right, and then they go somewhere else. Just like, but yeah, that I just really weird.
That'd be amazing.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, people were hung from there. But I, for the next couple of episodes, I think we should be done with Frank at least till like maybe the last 2 or 3 episodes. Maybe just forget about him. Focus on Elektra and whatever she may want. And now that the Irish are gone, I think we're gonna start seeing the hand reemerge.
Word.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get the trial of Frank Castle. I think Matt and Foggy are going to take up his case and defend him
He's not going to be easy to defend.
He's not going to be easy to defend, but that's the type of case they take.
No, I mean like he's
Yeah,
gonna,
that would be fascinating.
And I think
to
that
watch.
keeps Reyes still in the. If Reyes is the prosecuting attorney, and it's the,
She would have to be.
and it's the people versus Matt Castle,
Castle.
Frank Castle.
I like Matt Castle though. We could show
Yeah,
that.
we could do it. We could do a quarterback.
Yeah, it's like, I think that's a person.
Yeah, the people versus Frank Castle, and like Matt and Foggy take it up, and then that still gives Karen impetus to do something. Like she still has to dig and find out Frank's past and find out what happened, why those suits are there for that cover up. It gives Matt and Foggy something to still be connected to Frank. He doesn't have to be the Punisher during that time. He's going to be in jail. So, but we still like get Frank. And at the same time, there's like that becomes the B story, and the A story becomes whatever Elektra's doing.
Yeah.
But it's sorry. Go ahead, and I'll wait.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, please, just into the mic.
Damn it. Fine. Okay, fine. So this is a guy who's killed a lot of people. Seems like he would need a high security place. Who else is in a high security place when we see him talking to Fisk?
That'd be cool.
I kind of want to know. I feel like just from somebody who hasn't read the comics, I want to know why all the security and why the Irish went after Castle. Like I want that to come up, and I know that it will, but I want it soon.
I mean, let's
want
not
it now.
let's not forget that the
Danny,
DA
I want a golden egg
they
now.
called him the Punisher, but from the fact that like the files that Karen got.
They already
They
knew.
seemed to know exactly who he was.
See, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like from the story about like it sounded like FBI or just somebody that was like way up there that was playing security on him and had the DNR. Like to have him be like the plug pulled and everything. I'm like, look, why? First of all, why did the Irish go after him if he's just somebody coming home from war?
Yeah.
Like, did he do something in Afghanistan that like pissed people off, or that?
It may not. They may not have been a group yet. You know what I'm saying? Because if Finn was there and Finn was back in Ireland, then this was a while ago.
So I just want to know. I'm like, that's what I'm thinking about the most because the Punisher, he's got me. Like they've got 4 episodes, and I've watched 4 episodes where I'm like, hey, I freaking want to know what the hell. You know what I mean? And like for it to end right now, I feel like they're definitely going to bring him back, but I want to know the backstory now.
We'll get it.
All right.
We will get it. I think that's
my hopes and
that's
dreams.
a definite. And like so, like I said, guys. Before we sign out, do you guys have any other thoughts? Any favorite moments we didn't get to touch on from these episodes? There's so much to cover.
I really like the baton work that's happening. Like
Yeah.
all of the times where he like throws it at someone and it comes back and he just catches it. Like I think that's really cool. I also like how it's consistent where like sometimes he throws it and it doesn't come back.
Because
Like,
it's not
yeah.
a flat surface. It's
Yeah.
like a person.
Yeah, so I really
Meat
enjoy.
bags to the floor.
I really enjoyed that. We could have talked about that fighting. I just really enjoy with these Netflix series, with Daredevil 1, or not Elektra, Jessica Jones, and now Daredevil 2, just the difference between these series and like the early 2000s comic book movies, where like the people who made these series clearly love these characters and are willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that they're doing right by these characters, and it's unapologetic, is just fantastic. And seeing that characterization is just like such a treat for us. And if it's your first time seeing these characters, like what a great introduction to some of like the most legendary characters in like American writing.
Yeah.
And like American mythology. It's really it's such an awesome treat. I'm looking forward to the rest of the series.
Yeah,
Showrunners did it right.
Absolutely.
And I'm so glad the dog lived.
Yeah. Beyond happy.
Jamie, any other favorite moments?
No, seriously, the dog was the highlight of.
I
I'm just kidding.
really like just the Punishmobile.
The punishment.
Oh,
the
yeah,
van
very slight.
down by the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Punisher's living in a van.
Did that guy? Sorry, super
by
quick
the
sidebar. Did that guy remind you of the Joker at all? Like how they burned the money, how the money exploded. Like I don't know why I was thrown back to like the Punisher doesn't give a shit about money. He
it's
doesn't
not the
care about.
money.
It's not. It's like he doesn't care. He just kind of wanted to watch them burn.
I
Like
think he
Yeah.
used the money as a tool to bring the top guy down.
oh, and
Like,
he
everything
knew
was
what
planned.
was gonna happen. Like he knew that he was gonna
With the
be
razor,
tortured.
like the razor blade
yeah,
in
he
his
knew.
cut. Like,
he knew he was gonna be
God.
tortured.
Oh
He's-
my god, yeah, that was the thing we
badass.
didn't talk. It's like he
He
literally.
knew. He put a razor blade in his skin.
He doesn't care.
Just to be like,
He's so
yo.
sick.
But at like,
I'm, like,
for
holding
the
my arm
the
and,
fight
like,
scene, one of my favorite parts was the timing of Matt beating people up, stop him from killing a guy.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah,
beating
was
people
like-
up, stop him from killing a guy, get the
that was
hammer
cool.
out.
It was great
like-
choreography.
Choir boy, or what it is, altar boy.
Alter Boy, yeah. It's cute.
su-
They're
super
cute
good.
friends too. Matt
Yeah.
has so many cute little friends.
They do. He does. The priest in this episode was great with his
Amazing.
eulogy.
Always
Yeah.
is.
Matt and Melvin, Matt and the priest, Matt and
And
Frank.
Foggy.
Yeah, Matt and Foggy. Like,
So many
he's
buds.
got too many buddies.
I know.
He's got so many
It's,
buds.
it's not a ship, it's a fleet! It's a
Oh,
fleet!
buds everywhere.
You could just add devil to all of the
I
last
think
names.
I think we also got to do quickly just some news and gossip.
Let's do it.
Something real quick.
AfterBuzz.
Because if you guys weren't aware, and it's not actually in spoiler territory,
Yeah.
but apparently when you finish the season, like if you have to actually watch it watch the last episode through on Netflix, and when you do, at the very end, there's a teaser for Luke Cage. And I only saw like some pieces of it because
Yeah,
we're
same
not
here.
there yet.
You
and I
showed me
didn't-
the logo.
yeah,
drop,
somebody
and
just
I was-
made a GIF of like the logo as it comes up, but it's like steel cut,
Sweet
hard edged,
Christmas.
and it's just like
Christmas isn't the only thing that'll be sweet. September 30th. Luke Cage.
I'm so excited. Like I love Power Man.
on Marvel Movie News. I believe the thought was that the tagline will be Christmas comes early.
We also got the confirmation of the lead of Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that came out this week.
Finn
that
Jones?
Finn Jones
Yeah.
will officially be Danny Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Very controversial. We've talked about it before, so we're not going to get into it again.
Hey, listen to our season 2 preview if you want to hear us talk
Yeah,
about
we
it.
did a full trailer breakdown, and at the end we talked about the casting
Very
and
good
stuff.
conversation.
I think so. But yeah, that's it for the news. So that's there waiting for you when you finish episode 13.
Like, I remember you tried to bring up the trailer, but it was like, you haven't watched Daredevil
Yeah.
yet.
yeah. I mean, I'm not. We're no spoilers. Like
No
we're
spoilers.
watching at pace for you guys. And like I said, we haven't nailed down when we're gonna do the next episodes. It will be sometime this week.
Yes.
Stay tuned to us on Twitter to find out exactly. And if we have
The Marvel
managed.
account.
Yeah, the best way to find it is if you go onto Twitter, you can follow all of us. But we'll give out our Twitter handles in a moment. But you can also follow ABTV Marvel on Twitter. That's at ABTV Marvel, and that's the best place to get all your updates for all of the Marvel after shows here at AfterBuzz, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which Jesse and I talk about on Tuesdays.
Yep.
And also, if you weren't aware, be sure to tune in tomorrow. That's Sunday, March 20th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because I'm going to be interviewing John Paisano, who is the composer of Daredevil.
Yes,
both
the
seasons
theme
1
music.
and season 2.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's like, I've been listening to the score again from season 1 because like they had released it on iTunes at one point, and like it's so good. Like it's
Yeah.
so nuanced, and so we're gonna talk about the different themes that he created for Daredevil and for he created new themes for Elektra and the Punisher this year, like very specific things, and we're gonna talk about all of that tomorrow afternoon.
Stay tuned.
So yeah, right here at AfterBuzz, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, March 20th. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you to all of you guys in the live chat. Thank you especially to those of you who didn't spoil anything. I know that there were a few people we had to ban for spoiler territory
And for trolling.
and
which comes
stuff.
with the territory.
Yeah, but thank you for everyone who was respectful. We really appreciate it. And we love you guys in the live chat. So like I said,
Please
stay tuned.
do,
And
yeah.
we'll tell you when the next recap is going to happen. Might be Wednesday, might be another day, but we'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yep.
So until then, where can everyone keep up with you guys? Let's start on the other end. Jamie.
Hi guys, you can follow me on Twitter and the Instagram at Jamie S. Elias, JamieSelias.
Hello, world. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number 1.
Hello, world. That was beautiful. You can follow me on Twitter at Donica. Also on our sister site, Jedi Alliance is a show that I do. It's a Star Wars show. We have a new co-host joining us tomorrow, or not tomorrow because it's Saturday, Monday, John Roca. Make sure to follow the show at Jedi_Alliance. Also, Video Game Movie Anatomy is coming back this next week, where we're doing Max Payne, which is somewhat a cousin to The Punisher. So.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson, ThatZachWilson. Also here at AfterBuzz on a whole bunch of shows, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Grimm. I've got, what else is going on
Voice
these
of Doom.
days? Yes, well, I was doing AfterBuzz first.
Well,
You know,
jeez.
Better Call Saul. That was the other one. That's because there's so much TV I'm watching. You do that, and occasionally on Marvel Movie News as the voice of Doom. So find me there, all those places, guys. So until next time, I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterbuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Punish you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.